Hi, I'm Max Anderson, Instructional Designer at the University of Illinois College of Medicine, Chicago campus. I have been working with some of our faculty who want to incorporate more educational technologies into their course delivery. One of our early adopters of educational technology use is Dr. Elliot Kaufman. Dr. Kaufman teaches an 8-week medical genetics course for our first-year medical students. In the past, it involved 40 lectures across the 8 weeks. Currently, there are no lectures, and the in-person time is composed of 8 team-based learning sessions, or TBLs. He used a tablet app called Explain Everything to create short, high-yield informational tutorials that students review prior to coming to the TBLs. I asked him to tell us about his experience using this tool.
Well, thanks, Max, for inviting me, and I'm happy to do this because, I was one of the first to adopt this method, and my course, Medical Genetics, was an 8-week course, consisted of 40 lectures. It was 1 lecture a day for 8 weeks. I actually called it my biblical course in medical genetics because every day I would give a lecture, and every night I would prepare for the next day's lecture. So it was 40 days and 40 nights. And I gave all of the lectures, but it became pretty obvious, well, pretty much for most courses, and especially mine, attendance was not good. Certainly less than 50%. If I had 40 to 60 students in the lecture hall out of the class of 180, I considered that a pretty good day. And students were using other means to learn the material. They were reading, they were using my lecture notes, and in more recent years they were watching my lecture recordings. So one day, one week I had to be away, and so I kind of flipped the classroom that week and told them to just do the readings and watch last year's lectures. And when we got back, I had a quick review session, and as it turned out, that topic that was covered during that week, the students did extremely well on the exam in that topic. So it really didn't matter whether I was there lecturing or not. And that planted the seed, and with the curricular transformation, starting, I finally decided, yes, I will flip this classroom. We will just provide a weekly assignment, which includes readings and of course some videos and practice problems, and then a Friday, in the case of my course, Friday TBL session to utilize the material they were learning. And that's what I've been doing for the last 2 to 3 years now. A total TBL, 8 TBLs, no lectures. Well, at the time, I was faced with replacing 40 one-hour lecture recordings, which weren't, it was no more fun sitting and watching those on your computer than it was sitting and listening to me in the lecture hall, apparently. So what I decided I needed to do is replace each hour lecture with perhaps 3 or 4 or 5 short videos which focused on very specific topics or concepts in that overall assignment. So the bulk of the material was learned, I thought, by reading the reading assignments, and I would emphasize the important concepts in my videos. So I needed to create videos, and I didn't know how. I heard about Explain Everything from you and from Amy Lynn at the time, and here was I could use my iPad, so it was kind of, I had an iPad, no investment needed there. I think in those days Explain Everything was $2.99, so I bought the app for $2.99, and I tried it, and I was able to actually create usable, pretty decent, at least I haven't gotten too many complaints about it, videos in my home. So the learning curve was very quick, and it was a kind of in my mind, a low-tech way of doing it, and Explain Everything at that point did everything I needed for it to do. I'll share the way I approached it. I actually took my lecture, which was a PowerPoint lecture, and maybe 30 to 40 slides in that PowerPoint lecture. And I riffed through it, and I said, which slides are the most important? Which are the ones that capture the concept I want people to know? And there are a lot of peripheral slides, but I was able to usually find 2, 3, or 4 slides that were important for a concept. I actually used those and imported those, and you can do this with Explain Everything, imported those PowerPoint slides into Explain Everything, and then I talked and discussed and drew diagrams and added a sample question at the end and said, and then here's how you would, using that concept, here's how you would solve this problem, and I would go through and solve it. So yeah, it became interactive like that, and so maybe 3 to 6 slides might generate a 8 to 12 minute video, and that's how I proceeded, and I just went through from the beginning to the end, and it took me 2 years, 2 cycles to get it all done. Within Explain Everything, once you create your video and you do that in a project and you can edit all of that, then you generate an MP4 file essentially, and I've uploaded those to Echo 360, and the links to those files on Echo are made available to the students in Blackboard as part of their weekly assignment. So it says, read this, watch these videos, answer these practice problems, and then we'll see you on Friday.
Excellent. What kind of feedback have you received from students?
Well, they certainly prefer this over having to come to my lectures, apparently. It's interesting. So over the years I've been doing it, they really like the videos, although on occasion people have complained that being limited to watching them at 2x is a bit of a burden. They'd like to watch them even faster and spend even less time listening to me, but that's okay. I don't take that too personally. I think the proof is in the pudding that what we've gotten back from the students, as you know, with the post-course surveys, is that they simply watch the videos. They don't do a lot of the readings. So what they've learned is that they can get what they need from the videos, and I guess that's okay. I think I'm going to have to try to find a way to get them to do more reading, but knowing their time constraints, if it works for them, that's fine. So yeah, more videos. That's what they want. More videos and more practice problems. Those are the 2 things they use. The nice thing about Explain Everything and using this, basing it on a slide by slide essentially, is I learned I didn't have to be flawless and go through the whole video. A slide would come up, I would start the recording, I would say what I wanted, and then I would stop. And then I would prepare what I wanted to say for the next slide. So, that kind of organized, and then start the recording again, and it just flowed very easily like that. Going back and editing and redoing was pretty easy. So, my needs were simple. I didn't need to do a lot of sophisticated things. Essentially, bring up a slide, talk about it, draw on the screen, draw a diagram, and then create the video. So I would do these at night at my kitchen table when it was quiet, and on a few recordings, a few videos, you can hear the compressor on the refrigerator kick in, and once or twice you can hear the ice machine dump a tray of ice in the background. But it was pretty easy to get into it, and I think that easy success, incentivized me to keep going and doing more. And I would, in the first year that I did it, I probably did 40 videos in preparation for that first rollout. And didn't need very many more after that. So it's pretty good. Well, I guess this video, as I understand it, is for those who are thinking about doing this, and I can just share my own. Here I was, I had 40 canned lectures. I could do those pretty easy, no sweat. But taking the leap to flip the classroom, as I did, was kind of a leap of faith. And I was urged and supported by the dean's office and Dean Hoderi. But it was your hiring, the curricular designers hiring that actually allowed me to move forward. It gave me someone who supported me, as you did, and provided advice and information and all sorts of physical support. It actually is what got me to do it, and it was just great having somebody to bounce ideas off of and ask questions of and all of that. And so I urge anybody who wants to do this, take advantage of Max and his folks, because they'll make it happen.
Great. Thank you so much for speaking with us. It's very interesting.
My pleasure.
My name is Cutler Lewandowski, and I'm an M2 student here at the University of Illinois College of Medicine. I think the thing that was really nice about them was that if you didn't understand something, you could go back and find the video for that topic and just quickly, within like 5, maybe 10 minutes, understand what you needed to know about the topic. Whereas maybe compared to a 50-minute lecture, this is very concise and clear, and maybe 1 or 2 slides that detailed just the information you needed to know. So he had a lot of other resources, more text-based reading assignments. So I think the videos kind of helped cement in anything that really didn't make sense, kind of just as an extra layer of how you could learn it. But yeah, I do think it would be helpful, especially in areas where like certain topics don't have time to be covered in the full lecture, but they're still important, or even you could reduce kind of the amount of lecture time and just send out a couple videos that are 5 to 10 minutes on the important concepts that kind of give students a little more trouble. I think that would be helpful.